This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion. I'm going to bring a little trend education today. The word trend, the phrase trend following. The phrase trend following is a little bit of a misnomer, even though it's a phrase that obviously I use a lot. Because you really can't follow a trend. What you can do is take an entry and let the entry take off, and you can follow that. So trend following is best thought of as a philosophical term, but it's not best thought of as a trading system. Let me dive a little bit deeper here so you don't get confused with me. Trend following 100% describes the trading of a trend following trading system. But you don't find a trend. You don't spot a trend. Your neighbor doesn't tell you about a trend. You can't know the trend until it's over. Now, many of you will know exactly what I'm talking about and why I say it. Some of you are thinking, no fucking way. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's take a step back. We all know that if you go out onto the internet, that very smart place where very smart people congregate, Twitter, Facebook, etc., you can find almost immediately people that can tell you they can spot a trend. They can't. Maybe they can enter a trade. But once they enter that trade, they do not fucking know what will happen next. And if they tell you they do, they're full of shit. You can take an entry and have a stop. At that point in time, you have no control. You can't control a damn thing. You're at the mercy of whatever comes next. Oh, I know. You don't like to be at the mercy of whatever comes next. I get it. We're Americans, or at least I'm American, and many of my listeners are Americans, and the American way is to think that we can control everything. By the way, has anyone looked in the mirror at the size of my fellow Americans? And if you thought you could control anything or everything or whatever, look at your last 1 year. You don't control a damn thing. Teachers' unions in America control everything. Politicians control everything. Let me reel myself back before I go off on a political tangent, which is not the point of where I want to go today. I want to keep it at this notion of trend. So we're at the mercy of whatever comes after we take an entry. Now look back at GameStop. Many folks were playing around in GameStop back in the summer. I don't know, was it $5 a share, $10 a share, something like that? They had an idea why they were in their particular trade. Maybe it was fundamentals. Maybe they were guessing. Maybe they had a system. Maybe it was part of a trend following system and it was just one entry inside their system. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They had an approach. They had some reason for being in it. Then Tulip Mania hit. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there said, I must get on the trend. They weren't getting on the trend. All they were doing was getting on. They were taking an entry. Now, if the market continued to go up, and in this case, it did, but in this case, it also went crashing back down and currently is back up some. Now take a step back and pretend you don't know what GameStop is. Pretend you only have the GameStop chart of the last 1 year and you're looking at it on a wall and you don't know what market it is. How do you trade it? How do you trade that and come out alive? That's the only operative question here. Now, of course, I'm not trying to get you to go trade one market. I'm not trying to get you to trade GameStop. I'm simply saying If you look at a chart like that, there's not a fucking thing in that chart that was predictable. Not, excuse my French here, take the kids out of the room. Take the wives and the girlfriends out of the room. There was not one fucking thing on that chart that could allow you to predict one fucking thing. And you're fucking crazy if you fucking think so. That might be a record for the number of F-bombs I've put in one sentence on this podcast. Thank you. You can send a commission check to me or a tip, however you like. I have a PayPal account. It's my email if you'd like to pay me some money for contributing as many F-bombs as I could into one sentence. In all seriousness, this notion that you can see a trend or spot a trend, or that you are going to trade as a trend-following trader on 5-minute bars, 10-minute bars, 1-hour bars, day trading. No, you're not. Because generally, that's going to be one market. How in the hell are you a trend-following trader on one market? There's no diversification. Not diversification as you typically think of as the 60-40 split and all that bullshit from your typical Merrill Lynch broker. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the idea as a trend-following trader, you're going to have many small losses. If you're only trading one market and it only goes sideways for years, you're going to miss out on all the other opportunity that took place in the other markets that were, to use my phrase, trending. So you can't be a 5-minute bar trend-following trader. You can't be a one-market trend-following trader. You can't be an Elliott wave trend-following trader. You can't be a Gann trend-following trader. You can't be a Fibonacci trend-following trader. I mean, you can. You can lie to yourself. You can tell yourself that you are a trend-following trader as you do all these bullshit things. You can stand in the mirror and punch yourself in the face all day long and tell yourself that you are a trend-following trader. But come on. How about a dose of reality? Here's a side tangent dose of reality. I had a guest on my podcast. She's not live yet, a Harvard professor, very nice. We had a very lovely conversation. We might have slight differences on some things, but the conversation was about remote work. And I think we were both in full agreement on that. Now, me, being a curious guy, a skeptical guy, somebody who's looking for the Achilles heel, she was laying out the case that American workers in particular are going to have to choose remote work. And it won't be the companies that choose for them. Now, of course, I'm not in America when she says that. And I do know that outsourcing is not just a pie in the sky, something that maybe you should be worried about. I have staff in the Philippines. You know why? Because they do a better job than my prior American staff for 70% less the money. So Mr. and Mrs. America, let me tell you, you will not be choosing whether or not you are doing remote work or not. If you want to work for a company, trust me, that company is going to find the cheapest and best labor cost. And if it's in America, great. If it's not in America, guess what? They will take it outside of America in a heartbeat, because I did. And look, I'm not Apple. I'm not Microsoft. I'm not Amazon. But I tend to be a wise guy, not wise guy like Goodfellas, but a wise guy like, hey, I like to think of myself as making rational decisions. And it's perfectly rational to take your labor to where you get the best bang for your buck. So I did have a little bit of a disagreement with my Harvard friend. I don't think employees, if people choose to be an employee, will have any say in the matter. And why should they? They're just working a job. And if they don't like that job, they can move on. That's life in the big city. Pulling myself out of that little bit of a remote work tangent, let me give a concrete perspective on trend following, the way you really need to think about it instead of all of the things that I made fun of a few minutes ago. First, you need to know what markets you are going to trade. You need a tracking portfolio that you can follow. That's not every market under the sun. but you need some diversity. And you watch those markets. You don't watch every market. You watch your tracking portfolio. Then you need to have some type of a momentum indicator, something that gets you in simple, robust, a rule that's easy to follow. I mean, all trend following rules are easy to follow conceptually, but a rule that's easy to follow and you take it religiously. It's not a prediction. It's a momentum indicator. It means you're buying higher highs or selling short lower lows. You are not buying cheap or selling at the high. You're letting your profits run with a stop. So once you got that entry indicator, that momentum indicator, how much do you bet? You've got limited capital. I've got limited capital. Do you bet 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, 20%? I mean, some of these GameStop folks, some of the Bitcoin folks, I'm sure they've made some crazy bets. I'm sure as many stories as we have heard about people making a bloody fortune on some of the high flyers, some of the .com part 2 mania that's currently going on. Yeah, some people have killed it. Some people have gotten killed. We don't hear about the ones that have been killed because, you know why? They're fucking dead. God, that sounded mean, didn't it? They're fucking dead. Literally, they are fucking dead. They are financially fucking dead because they didn't have a plan. They were just gambling. They went to Vegas. They put it all on freaking red and spun the roulette wheel. You don't want to be that person. Again, the first three things we're talking about here from a trend following perspective. Your tracking portfolio, 1. Your entry indicator, 2. Your bet size, 3. You can't bet at all each trade. That leaves you with perhaps, arguably, the 4th and 5th most important points to any trading perspective. Larry Height's book, The Rule, was all about this. What is this? 4 and 5? A stop. Hold on, why is 4 and 5 being repeated? It's not. How do you exit with a profit? How do you exit with a loss? That's 4 and 5. Because ultimately, back to the very beginning of this podcast, my point about prediction, that you can't predict a trend, this is where the stop part comes in. Trend following is about managing your downside. If you control how much you're willing to lose and you can stay in the game, then guess what? Somewhere along the line, some unexpected mover, some unexpected company, some unexpected commodity, some unexpected crypto coin is going to take off and run. And you're going to be on it. You're not going to be on it because you knew a damn thing about the fundamentals. You're going to be on it because it's rolling and it's moving out and you had a system to take advantage of it. This is the thought process. You got to have this thought process. If you don't have this thought process, that's fine, but you're just fucking gambling. And it's fine to gamble. Just know what you're doing. And realize that if you go down the gambling road, there's a very good chance when it's all said and done, you will have less money than when you started. So for the smart people out there, the people that actually want to do well, throw all the other stuff that I've ripped in half in this particular podcast out and choose a trend following perspective. Trust me, you will absolutely thank me, and you will. Guaranteed. Send me commissions. Send me gift baskets. Send me bottles of wine. I don't even drink wine. I'll give it to somebody else. Why will you do all these things? Because once you have the trend following perspective, once you get it, you're stuck. You're addicted. You can't go backwards. It's like ringing the bell. And then once you have that trend following perspective for the markets, for trading, for investing, it infects your whole life. There's no going back. It's red pill, blue pill. And once you take that damn red pill, the trend following red pill, you're stuck. The splinter's in your mind and you can't pull it out. I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.